Horse and buggy days, may they never be forgotten. Even if it's just old Dobbin on a dusty up-country track, there's nothing like seeing a good harness horse in action. This one's a trotter. Watch how he moves one front foot and the opposite hind foot together as he trots. Of course, harness racing is a big sport and growing bigger. But for the most part, it is still a country track affair like this at Aiken, South Carolina. Here, fine horses of all kinds have been bred and raced for generations by amateurs and professionals alike. These horses are standard bred. Most of them are trotters, but many are pacers. Here's the difference in slow motion. The pacer moves the two legs on the same side in unison. Left front, left rear, right front, right rear. This gives the pacer a swing and sway sort of gait and has been known to make a driver seasick. But some of the fastest times have been made by pacers like Dan Patch. Harness racing is basically an American sport. In the old days, it was part of a Sunday or holiday frolic to hitch up the family farm horse to the surrey or the buggy and race to see who would buy the cider, or for greater stakes. While an English thoroughbred is credited with being joint founder of the trotting line, most harness racers today, even in Russia, trace their origins to American-bred sires. A horse, by the way, might be born either a trotter or a pacer, doing whatever comes naturally. But he may be trained to run at either gait. The buggy is all but gone, but the sulky is becoming more familiar all the time as harness racing spreads into the cities. The first sulkies were four-wheelers. Then a high two-wheeler appeared. The bike sulky appeared as long ago as the gay 90s and caught on. It is a stripped-down and dainty vehicle that makes demands on the drivers in the maneuvering around the turns and down the stretches. To speed is added the test of skill to delight all those sporting folks who love a race and love a winner. But churning up the dust on a racetrack is not the only thing left for today's horses to do. Here and there in the world, a harness horse can provide a pleasure ride for his driver. Although here's a chap who hasn't learned what that is yet. It's this little fellow's first day in traces. He's got all the skittishness of his cousin, the unbroken saddle horse. But just the same, it's a start toward becoming one of the most beautiful operators of them all, a hackney pony. The hackney gets his name from the coaches his ancestors used to pull for hire in England. A proud and fancy step is his hallmark, and to help obtain it, the hackney goes to the smithy early in his life. There he gets special weighted shoes that make him lift his knees as high as a British grenadier on parade before a queen. The hackney started on the turnpikes and the post roads, but his beautiful high stepping made him the darling of the Victorians. Today, he's the pride of top-flight horse shows. He sports burnished brass and shiny leather. Not an item of his coiffure, not even his tail, is neglected. Here he is, basically a trotting horse, but more of a dude. Rather than speed, he boasts a great wealth of grace and beauty. Watch his stylish knee work in slow motion. Isn't that a pretty sight? Now here's a pair. They move in perfect unison. Two diamonds of identical cut. Slow motion shows the blue ribbon grace of these superb animals. Now picture yourself on a fine spring day, the gentlemen in shining beaver hats, the ladies with feather boas streaming, fashionable Victorians enjoying coaching in the park. Or picture yourself in a sporty little rig for one. Today, of course, horses or carriages like these are usually seen performing only on the Tanbark of the horse show ring, vying for blue ribbons rather than the envy and admiration of the social world. The old days are gone forever, but in show horses and in the harness racers, that old tradition of horse and buggy lingers on. The arching neck, the upflung knee, the graceful arrogance of the hackney, the pleasure of driver and horse is mingled. In all of these, as you catch it in slow motion, is written the pride and the glory of the equine breed, the pride and the glory of the world of Tanbark and Turf.
Uncork the fun of movies and wine with the TCM Wine Club.